name is Andrew Musselman. I am from the Burleson Church of Christ, and I will be speaking on the North Texas LTC theme for 2017, To Make God Known, found in Acts 17:23. In past biblical times, in order for generals and officials to communicate with each other, they would call for a kerux. A kerux would memorize written messages and quickly relay them back to the intended receiver. Kerux is a Greek term, and when translated to English, it means herald or messenger. As a messenger, the kerux would stop at nothing to deliver the message to the unaware. Similarly to a kerux, I believe that a newspaper shares the same qualities. A newspaper has information that people need to know or obtain. And I'm about to give you all here a short history lesson. And I promise it's not as bad as it seems. So I asked the question, what are some of the most important events in our history? When asking myself the same question, 3 come to mind. On December 7th, 1941, this had and will be remembered as the day Pearl Harbor was attacked and marked the entrance of U.S. into World War II. November 22nd, 1963, the day our youngest president, John F. Kennedy, was assassinated not far from where we are in Dallas now. Or on a more positive day, on July 21st, 1969, was the first time mankind had ever stepped foot on the moon that was previously determined to be unreachable. In regards to these events, how do you think they were communicated to the people? I like to imagine these events as newspaper headlines, right on the front page for all to see. A newspaper was and is intended to deliver information of great importance to anyone and everyone. In addition, there is an extreme urgency a newspaper has in informing people in the shortest time possible. This thought of a newspaper made me make another connection. If there was a newspaper in biblical times, what would be some of the headlining events? Out of many events, 3 stand alone to me. Found in 1 Samuel 16, we find that David is anointed king, one who was doubted by man, but shocked everyone with his God-given potential. In Genesis 11, we learn of the Tower of Babel. Specifically, the Tower of Babel has fallen. The massive structure of man's accomplishment and unity had been leveled by the Lord. And finally, found in Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, and John 20, mark the resurrection of our Savior Jesus Christ, a man with no fear and had overcome death itself. Again, the purpose of a newspaper is to inform people of the news they urgently need to know. If you open up the Bible, you will find some of the most interesting and important stories that people need to hear. As a Christian, we are called to be disciples of the Word and spread the good news because it deserves to be heard. As disciples of Christ, we must spread our good news with the same urgency as a newspaper. In a world that is lost and unaware, we must share our news so that people can be found. Christian book author and minister Greg Asamakopoulos tells this story. In 1992, a Los Angeles County parking control officer came upon a brown Eldorado Cadillac illegally parked next to the curb on street sweeping day. The officer dutifully wrote out a ticket. Ignoring the man seated at the driver's wheel, the officer reached inside the open car window and placed a $30 citation on the dashboard. The driver of the car made no excuses. No argument ensued, and with good reason. The driver of the car had been shot in the head 10 to 12 hours before, but was sitting stiff as a board, slumped forward, with blood on his face. He was dead. The officer, preoccupied with ticket writing, was unaware of anything out of the ordinary. He got back in his car and drove away. Many people around us are dead in transgression and sins. What should catch our attention most is their need, not their offenses. They don't need a citation, they need a Savior. As disciples or messengers of Christ, we need to recognize the need for a Savior. We must share our good news to those who need to be informed. Our job is simple. Our paper is printed. All we have to do is to deliver it to anyone and everyone in as little time as possible. So I challenge you to share the good news and to make God known to the unaware.